He had thought the night shift on the mining station would be uneventful. Alone, surrounded by the hum of machinery and the distant, eerie glows of the alien planet's twin moons, he expected nothing more than the quiet company of his own thoughts. The station itself floated like a fragile glass shard in the endless void, tethered by only a few weak energy fields and the hope that nothing catastrophic would happen tonight. Then he saw her. It was a mistake that would change everything. He had gone to check the hydroponics bay after a minor alert flickered on the console. The faint, cold light of the bay revealed her at first only as a shadow. She moved with an unnatural grace, gliding across the glass walkways. When she turned, the light caught her face, or what he could describe as a face. Her skin shimmered with an almost metallic pallor. Her eyes were too bright, too sharp, glowing faintly like twin lanterns. Her hair flowed around her as though underwater, dark and endless. He froze. A sense of wrongness, of alarm, gripped him. The kind of instinct humans had carried for millennia, warning of predators in the night, but curiosity rooted him to the spot. The moment stretched. She had noticed him then. Her eyes locked on his, unblinking, studying. There was no malice, not yet. But the way she moved quietly, predatory, made it impossible to ignore that this was not a being like him, not a creature made for peace. And yet, he could not look away. I didn't mean to. He stammered, though he had no idea why she would even understand him. A sound, soft and melodic, reached his ears. Her voice, if it could be called that, was layered with vibrations that seemed to resonate directly in his mind. Accidents happen, human. He took an involuntary step back, and in that small motion, the room seemed to contract. She smiled, just a hint, not wide, but enough to make his heart thump uncomfortably. It was terrifying. It was mesmerizing. He realized too late that he had seen something forbidden, something personal, something private, and in the culture of her species, there was a law as old as their civilization. A private sighting of an unconsenting female of noble blood could only be resolved by binding herself to the offender. Marriage. The word itself carried no ceremony. At first it was a binding, a merging of lives, a safeguard against dishonor. He had never been in love. He had never faced danger like this. And yet here he was in a foreign world, in front of a creature he barely understood, suddenly bound by a law older than any human could imagine. He tried again, but words failed him. She studied him, her head tilting slightly, as if evaluating his worth. Do you understand the consequence of your gaze? He nodded, though he did not. He barely understood anything at all, except that he was now in a situation that could define his life forever. Yes, he whispered. Her gaze softened ever so slightly, and then she gestured to the chamber's edge. We leave for the bond ceremony at first light. Do not resist it, would be foolish. He spent the rest of the night trying to reconcile his racing thoughts. Every shadow felt like her presence. Every faint hum of the station's engines became a heartbeat he feared he might share. Sleep evaded him, and when he finally collapsed, it was only for brief moments of restless unconsciousness. Morning brought the ceremony, or something that resembled one, at least to his understanding. She had dressed in garments of shifting light, reflective fibers that seemed alive. Around the chamber, alien attendants, their forms tall and angular, watched silently. He was led forward, the weight of inevitability pressing on him. The procedure was alien, involving symbols that glowed and intertwined with her skin, circling him, binding him not just physically but spiritually. He could feel it, a connection forming. Threads of energy linking his heartbeat to hers. When it was over, he was no longer alone. She was not simply beside him. She was inside his life, as inescapable as the air in his lungs. Do not fear me, she said, her voice calmer now. I am not your enemy, but I am not your servant either. You will learn respect, and I will learn patience. It was an odd, unbalanced partnership at first. He could not eat her food, could not share her rest cycles. He was human. She was something else entirely. Nights that were silent for him were filled with her subtle movements. her nocturnal hunting instincts twitching in the corner of his mind. Yet he could not deny the pull, the constant, subtle magnetism that made his thoughts drift to her, even in the light of day. Days turned into weeks. The station operated as it always had, but now every routine carried the tension of living with her. She could sense his fears before he spoke them. She could anticipate dangers in ways no human could. And in return, he found strengths in himself he did not know existed. Courage, adaptability, ingenuity. She was not cruel, but her presence demanded he be better, faster, sharper. One night, an alarm cut through the station. A meteor impact had struck one of the outer modules. He moved without thinking, running to secure the failing life support systems. She was there beside him, moving with effortless precision. For the first time, he realized they were stronger together than apart. He had human stubbornness and ingenuity. She had speed, power, and instinct. When the emergency was finally averted, he looked at her, breathless and shaken, and saw something he had never expected. A small, almost human smile. "You are surprisingly capable," she said. "And you are terrifying," he admitted. Smiling despite himself, it became a strange rhythm, this life. Work, survival, quiet moments of shared observation. They explored the alien terrain near the station, venturing further as they grew more confident in each other's presence. Her species' world was breathtaking bioluminescent forests, rivers of liquid light, skies where the twin moons danced with eerie synchronicity. She taught him to read the subtle shifts in energy around them, to sense danger before it arrived. And he, in turn, taught her patience, humor, and the small, stubborn delights of human culture stories. Music, the odd rituals of laughter. Over months, he realized the bond had grown deeper than law or obligation. There were moments when he could feel her emotions like waves crashing through him. Moments when she saved his life not because she had to, but because she chose to. And in those choices, he found something unexpected. Affection, respect, a kind of love neither of them had anticipated. The other humans on the station treated the pairing with a mix of awe and apprehension. Some avoided him entirely, whispering about what it meant to be bound to a being not of their world. But he no longer cared. His world had expanded, and the humans who could not accept that simply existed on the periphery. Years passed, and the station became more than a mining outpost. It became a hub of human-alien cooperation. A testament to what could happen when two very different beings found a way to coexist. He and she no longer merely bonded, but partners in every sense, became symbols of something larger, of the strength humans carried within them, of the potential for connection across unimaginable divides. Once he had thought his life would be ordinary, that he would fade into the background, one of countless faces in the expanse of space. But by accident, by the smallest misstep, he had seen something extraordinary. And by the same accident, he had discovered strength, courage, and partnership in a way no human could have ever planned. She would still move through the shadows with the elegance and power that had first terrified him. Her eyes still glimmered with secrets he might never understand. But now in those eyes, he could see trust, companionship, perhaps even something like warmth. The station hummed around them, fragile sanctuary in the endless darkness. And together, they faced the universe not as master and servant, not as predator and prey, but as equals, as partners. Humans had always survived in the harshest conditions, relying on ingenuity, courage, and stubbornness. Now, with her by his side, he realized they could thrive even among the stars, and perhaps in some distant, unforeseen future. The story of how a simple mistake had led to an unbreakable bond would become legend, not as a cautionary tale, but as proof that the human spirit, no matter how ordinary it might seem, could face the extraordinary and emerge stronger, wiser, and unbroken. He looked at her one night, standing on the observation deck, the twin moons reflecting in her eyes. He realized that what had begun as an accident had become something far more significant. A union forged in law, strengthened by necessity, and ultimately cemented by choice. He had glimpsed something forbidden. He had survived. And in surviving, He had found not just an ally, but a partner, a teacher, and, unexpectedly, a friend. And sometimes, late at night, when the station was silent except for their shared breathing, he would hear her voice, soft but firm, almost like a song. "You are not as fragile as I feared." And he would smile because he had discovered the truth. Humans were never truly fragile. Not when they dared to step into the unknown, and not when they were willing to face it together.